This is the Eastern Shore High School Football Preview Show.
And when they say the Saints are number one, they really are.
Yeah, they are.
They really are number one. Good evening and welcome to another season of high school football here on UTV 44. I'm Jim Cox, my partner Dan Brennan, and Dan, we were just this is for you and I. This is season number 15. I mean, you know, not a lot of coaches last 15 years in one stop. How we've done it, I believe, is a bigger mystery.
Well, they're not paying attention. But we have loved every minute of it, including tonight, as we kick off this 15th season. And so many of them now have been on UTV 44, that expanded huge audience all along the Gulf Coast, way up into the hunting regions.
In the Panhandle of Florida, yeah.
So we love doing it, and we love bringing you some great games, but you can't have great games without great teams and great players and coaches, and we have all of that every week.
And I think we're really going to see, you know, we're going to open the season this year seeing the St. Paul Saints take on Alma Bryant. And St. Paul's, I mean, is as dominant of a team as we saw all season long next year, last year, you know, being 15-0, winning state. I mean, they were as dominant as anybody we saw all season.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Steve Mask after the season, getting a chance to watch that state championship game. And I said, you know, Coach, what was such a tribute to you and your players is when you were going to watch St. Paul's, one of our games, if you just happened to be at the stadium and, you know, you're a fan of the team, state championship game. Just, you know, regardless of who you're playing, what the stage was, you knew what you were going to get from St. Paul's, right?
Yeah.
Just, you know, certainly a talented team, but also so well coached, so well disciplined. They just put the other team in bad positions time and time again with their discipline and their speed and talent, too. And you'll just hang around. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that with Coach Mask. He's here tonight, and we'll talk about the expectations, managing those a little bit as well, and just how much people really think about this team coming in. The reason we're here at Eastern Shore Toyota, we're here, we've been here several years, and we're doing it again, is Eastern Shore Toyota giving away some money, Dan Brennan.
They're going to give away a lot of money, and they do it every year, and here's the way it works. Top 4 schools are going to be awarded a cash donation from Eastern Shore Toyota. Now, the first place school gets $12,000. 12 grand in real money. Spend it the way you want to. If you want to improve your facilities, if you want to get equipment, whatever you want to do.
Coaches camps. We've seen coaches go out to different camps and use that money to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Second place prize, $4,000 for the schools and their football program. Third place and fourth place each get $2,000. Nothing to sneeze at. Some of these schools that really do need the money, you show the support, and you can help your school raise a whole lot of money. Thank you again to Eastern Shore Toyota and Hyundai, and they'll be hosting our pregame shows 14, 15 weeks this year.
All throughout the season, so $20,000. You know, talking about you and I starting this back in the year 2000, you know, just that was a long time ago. Just 2000, remember who was president? 2000?
2000, the president, this is pretty embarrassing. Bill Clinton was on his way.
2000. A couple of the things I thought about since we started doing this. You know what gas was in the year 2000? How much it was?
How about $1.50?
$1.31. $1.31 gas was there. Year 2000, we had a hockey team here. I'd be doing hockey games on Friday night, and then or be doing football on Friday, hockey other nights. You, I remember in between we did a doubleheader a long time ago. You were on Light Mix, then moved over to KSJ. You've been there ever since. A lot of things have changed.
They have, and then a lot of things have stayed the same. I think the one thing that's changed with high school football, most pertinent to what we're doing here tonight, it's gotten better.
And bigger.
And bigger, and it's the stakes are high, the coaching staffs are fantastic, and just watch tonight, you'll see what we're talking about.
Year 2000, I was on my second hairpiece. That's changed a lot since then.
Boy, little Trump.
When we come back, and Donald Trump may join us in the booth tonight in the third quarter. That's the rumor.
That's all we're saying.
Steve Mask coming up to join us to talk more about the St. Paul Saints and their season opener tonight, right here on UTV 44. High school football season here on UTV 44. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, BJ Edmonds, Steve Mask, the head coach, and St. Paul Saints with us here as we get ready for their matchup going up against Alma Bryant here tonight on UTV 44. And Coach Dan and I were just talking there in the opening segment about such a great season that you had last year. I know you were obviously very proud. Special group of kids. Where's the fine line between carrying that over, the successful being state champions, and then making sure everybody knows that you have to start anew for this year?
Well, you know, we've talked about that since really in January, Jim, to be honest with you, and I think this week it sort of hit home with us a little bit. And, you know, basically we told the kids that you can live off tradition for a little while, and you can live off your reputation for a little while, but eventually you're going to prove something. So we like the idea of being where we are. We think we have great tradition at St. Paul's, and we think we have a pretty good reputation. But now we got to figure out if we're going to be pretenders or contenders again. So you dwell in the past and draw off the past experiences, but you also got to keep moving forward, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and another thing I've had a chance to see when you, you know, have young guys like BJ in your office and others through the years when I've had a chance to visit now in his 4th year at St. Paul's, by the way, right? You're number 4?
Well,
as a
head coach,
yeah. With a 36-6 record, I might add, and a state championship. So
probably going to make year 5. I'm just going to say they're probably going to want him back for year 5.
we're gone before he is.
I hope so.
We might be gone before the season's out.
We might be, you know, I'm not saying we may not get it through the game, but here's what I notice about it. All coaches do it their own way. I love your approach with your players, and it really shows how much you care about these kids. And after big games, too, you know, you wear it. You don't hide it.
Well, everybody has a way of doing it, and I don't try to pretend to be somebody I'm not. I am what I am. Was it Popeye that said that? I am what I am. But, you know, I don't think you can coach or play or do anything that without having great emotion and caring about it. You know, you put so much of yourself into it that, you know, the feelings have to come out. And the other thing is, I think our kids know that we're genuine. You know, I don't think you can fake things anymore. Right. You know, 20 years ago, you could convince them this happened or that may happen. Now they know exactly what's happening. So they can see through you in a heartbeat. And you're right, Dan, we just try to be who we are, and we do care about them.
Yeah, I commend you for that, because some coaches don't want players or don't want to let that guard down, fearful of whatever, a loss of respect. And Steve doesn't do it that way.
Talk about BJ, such a big part of the team last year, and obviously going to be leaning on him to make a major impact. You know, a position change, moving from linebacker to the safety position this year. What a talent. We can't wait to watch him.
Well, you know, I told BJ last spring that, you know, we had about 55 colleges that come through in May, which is a testament to our school and our program. But I think BJ is one of the best kept secrets, not only in Mobile, but in the state of Alabama. You know, a lot of people look at him and say, is he a running back? Is he a nickel defensive back? Is he a free safety? Is he a strong safety?
Yes.
I don't care what he is. At the end of the day, he's a football player. Right. Yeah. And he's a really good football player. And he's really matured a lot in the last 3 or 4 years. You know, I kid him all the time. I didn't really like him a whole lot as a 9th grader because I thought he just sort of bounced around, did some things. And I think BJ will tell you the light went off in the last year and a half. And he's really matured, and he's so much fun to be around. And I'm glad he's on our side. But, yeah, he's going to contribute on both sides of the ball greatly.
Yeah, well, here he is from Central Casting, y'all. This is BJ Edmonds. And what's the St. Paul's experience been like for you? You've been there for a lot of years, so you've actually had a chance to be part of this program, winning tradition, for many years now. Let's talk about the school and the program and what it's meant to you.
Well, the school obviously is a great academic program, prepping you for college, and just from an athletic standpoint, always having great Division I players around you and other great football players around you. So when it comes down to Friday nights, it's a lot easier to go out there and play against other people that might not have that much talent on their team that we do and practice against every single day. So
yeah, I mean, when you see their ones go against their ones, you're thinking, I don't think the other team can do this, right?
Yeah, and how about also, so you win state as a junior, and such a great accomplishment, but now it's got to make you want it even more in your senior season at St. Paul's.
Well, just being a senior this year, you know, losing great seniors last year, now we have to become leaders, me and Miller. And we just have to try to do it again, but we just have to take it one game at a time, really, and not dwell on last season. Just like we didn't last year, we didn't think about the last season before that and just going after the goal and just winning region and then winning the playoff games and going to state.
Now, it can be kind of a grind, obviously, especially the longer you go into the season. I mean, some people are done after 10 weeks. Right. That's not the St. Paul's way. How do you guys stay focused and stay enthused that many weeks in a row?
Honestly, just because we want to stay as a family and stay together. And not, obviously, because if you lose in the playoffs, you're done. So we want to stay as a family, and we just want that all same goal. So thinking about that goal every single day drives us harder.
can't wait to see BJ take the field tonight. Like I said, we'll see him on both sides of the football. Saw that some last year. We'll see it more this year as well. When we come back, Miller Mosley, quarterback of the Saints, will join us as well. We'll talk more about his role last year, this year. Look ahead to Air Force Academy, where he's heading as well, and Coach Mask will stay with us. We'll talk more about the Saints. They get ready to take on Alma Bryant here tonight on UTV 44. Kickoff comes up at about 7:05. We'll talk more Saints football coming up right after this. Here at Eastern Shore Toyota for our pregame show for our high school football game of the week. Week 1, you know, the second year in a row we've kind of started. The season starts a week earlier, and so we're here a week earlier as well. And
no problem with us.
No, we're glad to glad to be here. The St. Paul Saints, defending 5A state champions, ranked #1 in the state. Miller Mosley, quarterback, with us as well. Steve Mask has been here since we started the broadcast. And Coach, you know, obviously, quarterback play, it all starts there. And Dan had talked about at the beginning of the show about how since we've been doing this, high school football's gotten bigger and it's gotten better. And I think there's no more position that is asked more of now than the high school quarterback than there was 10 or 15 years ago.
No doubt.
Well, video's changed a lot of things, you know, and I think the game's got a little bit more technical now. At the end of the day, it's still blocking and tackling, but, you know, it's got more technical. The college stuff is filtered down to the high schools. The NFL stuff goes to college. College comes to us. So you're right, it is really, really changed. And the quarterback is asked to do so much. And we're fortunate that we got one that's really, really good player and pretty intelligent to go along with it.
You know, and we get a chance to watch you guys too. And I remember when Miller started his first game, and then when I went to a practice earlier this week, two different people. Just the body language, the comfort, the understanding who he is to this team, what his role is, and what's expected of him.
Well, Dan, you've heard the term that the game slows down a little bit. Even at our level, it slows down a bit. We started him as a 10th grader, and to his credit, he handled it very, very well. And to be honest with you, he probably wasn't ready to do that. But he was put into a situation where he had to do it, and he performed remarkably.
Padgett got hurt, is that right? Padgett was injured?
Well, but Bradley had already graduated.
Oh, okay.
So it was the next year, and we had a little competition there. That's in material, how it all worked out, but it worked out to where he was the guy, and we threw him in the fire. We threw him in the fire against some really good folks, the Spanish Force.
No choice,
and,
no choice.
You know, the Spanish Force, the Vigors, and all those kind of people in the region with him at that time. And you know, and he was a little bit sometimes like the ever-ready bunny, you know, all over the place. And then as the year went on, he got better and better. And then I think you saw in the last half of last year, and I think Miller would concur, the game really slowed down for him.
Yeah.
And Dan, you're right. This fall has been a total transformation. He's very relaxed. He's real cool. He knows what we expect out. He knows what to expect of himself. And everybody believes in what the guy's trying to do.
You know, Jim, having this guy be your quarterback, trying to defend a state championship, you couldn't ask for more than that.
Yeah, and just from a confidence level, just to and just knowing what's going to happen, knowing where everybody's going to be. I mean, it's just got to be a great feeling coming into your senior season.
Oh yes, sir, it is for sure. And I mean, growing up with these guys and the seniors last year, they really helped us a lot. You know, as far as growing up. And you know, like Coach said, you know, at first it's kind of take it on the run and just do the best you can. But as you kind of grow older, the game slows down and it becomes more technical and mental. It's really helped a lot.
We want to get to his future, which is fantastic. But before we get there, let's get what I love about St. Paul's too, and so few of these schools actually, where these kids are playing together in the 5th grade.
Right.
6th grade, 7th grade. Some of your teammates that you won a state championship with last year, you guys were itty-bitty playing together. I mean, that's got to be a different kind of a...
Oh, yes, sir.
I mean, other teams' experience.
Yes, sir. I mean, BJ Edmonds, you know, just on the show earlier, me and him have been playing since maybe 1st grade. And so, you know, we've gone all the way up through Pee Wee and middle school and things like that. And, I mean, it's really helped the chemistry with our guys.
I would think.
Incredible, yes, sir.
I would think.
Yeah, talking about the future, made the decision to go to the Air Force Academy. I mean, tell us about how that process, you know, how the recruiting process was and the decision to go there.
Well, I was getting recruited by all 3 of the military schools, academies, and I visited 2 and felt comfortable, felt at home in Colorado Springs, and made my decision actually on the ride home. I called Coach Mask and told him this is where I want to be, and just kind of settled it for my senior season so I can, you know, focus on this school year.
How long did you visit he had Ivy League offers, guys. And we're talking about Brown was right in the mix, Harvard was in the mix, and last time I checked, the dummies ain't getting in those schools. I couldn't get in those schools. I can't spell Harvard. So that tells you a whole lot of what kind of character, what kind of scholastic athlete he really is, and a really good football player.
Yes. Did you come into the season? Did you say, hey, I want to be decided before the season starts so I can just concentrate on that?
Yes, sir. Over spring training, I talked to Coach Mask, and we had a conversation basically saying that, I kind of want to get this decision, under my belt and, focus on my senior year as a Saint and, hopefully bring the state championship back again.
Did you like the process? I mean, did you like the people? I mean, there's a lot of attention heaped on you. Some kids we've seen like it, and others were just kind of standoffish.
I'm kind of a reserved person, but I like the experience I went through, all the tours, the things I got to see, and I'm just glad I made my decision.
One of the things that one of the reasons this young guy was so desirable to these schools, not just what he does in the classroom, obviously, but as a really good athlete, and part of your athletic gifts is that speed, which you went right to track after the football season. Is that right? Talk about the speed you have and how people quickly realize, oh, this guy can really run, and how you develop your speed and have become faster.
Yes, sir. Well, actually, after the state game, I think it was played on a Thursday night, and that Saturday, I actually, got on a bus and went up to Birmingham for indoor track meet, and so that was a little off. But I don't know. Out there, I just like to have fun with the guys. I mean, football's not fun unless you're having fun. So I don't know. I just try to play like playing with these guys for a long time, so I don't know, just being comfortable out there is what really
It's fun to watch you play.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's fun to watch you play.
We can't wait to do it, and we'll see you a bunch this year. The Saints will be on TV a bunch this year. When we come back, thanks for being with us, man. We'll talk more with Coach Mask. We'll have some fun questions, as we always do. He has all summer been texting me saying, Jim, I can't wait till those questions here at the end of the show.
That's a lie.
We're about 10 minutes from kickoff here, as we've got St. Paul's going up against Alma Bryant on our Week 1 game here on UTV 44. They're number one at the beginning of the season. They were number one at the end of the season last year, and a lot of people think they're going to be number one at the end of the season again this year.
Well, just a country music disc jockey watching practice. What do I know? But I got a chance to get up on the hill over the skillet, right, Coach? That's what they call it. That piece of land there on the St. Paul's property hasn't seen shade in 100 years. It's just those players are up there, and they go through those early fall practices, I guess you would say, and they're in shape. Because if you're going to practice on that field, you're going to be in shape.
We were talking about how long Dan and I have been doing this, and how long, you've been coaching for 100 years, and we're just at 15 years here. But, how different is it, now, players are better, coaches are better, technology is better, but, I mean, how different is high school football today than, say, go back, pick a number, 20, 25 years ago?
Well, this is my 35th year as a coach of some assistant, head coach, coordinator, whatever. The biggest difference now is that because of technology, you can correct things so much faster. We didn't film in the 80s. The only film you got in the 80s is what you filmed on Friday nights. We had the reel-to-reel, so you didn't film practice, and then VCRs came along. But, the kids, everybody said the kids have changed. They haven't changed. They still want discipline. They still want to be coached. The biggest difference in them now is in the 80s, you could tell them to run through that wall, and they would do it. Now they'll run through that wall, but they'll ask you why you want me to do that. They're smarter. They'll say, that wall's pretty hard. I mean, if you want me to run through it, I'll do it. But in the 80s, you said run through that wall and they'd do it. These kids do the same thing. They ask more questions now because there's more exposure on TV. They say, well, why don't we do this? They suggest things to us sometimes. We'll say, it's not a bad idea. So that's the biggest difference.
And I know every successful coach, you have to be in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely.
That happens a lot. And I know coaches talk about having special kids, but I mean, you and knowing you as we do on and off the field, I mean, the kids you get to coach at St. Paul's, I mean, it's got to be a treat.
Well, I tell people all the time, what happens on top of that hill transcends what happens on the bottom of that hill. Well, on top of the hill is where the school is, obviously. We're down in the little hole. The academic discipline that it requires to do good things on top of that hill comes down to us. If we tell them to take a 6-inch step, they'll take a 5 7/8. Because what happens in that structure from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock is really huge, and so that helps us. So That's important, Jim. It really is important. And make no mistake about it, now, we got good DNA. You know, we've got good players. We've got good players. But I think what separates us a little bit is our good players play great, our average players play good, and our great players play great because they're supposed to. So everybody sort of pulls the thing up a little bit more.
And the expectations, discipline and academic-wise, in the school itself lifts everything up, including athletics.
Well, we believe in the 4 pillars. We have, you know, spirituality, academics, athletically, and the arts, and we do pretty good in all 4 of them. And they're stressed, and nothing's above anything else. You know, athletics ain't here and academics here. We're all on equal playing ground.
All right, let's get to our fun questions here to wrap up the show. We're doing them really quick. Phone call or text?
Text.
Text.
Yeah, text for sure. Saturday night, Sunday morning. Saturday night or Sunday morning?
Well,
Just whatever you prefer. I'm just.
I would say Saturday night.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Yeah, I would agree on that. Best subject in school?
History.